Well, I've got Mr. David Ryan over here from the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. He is preparing his students for their production of Once Upon a Mattress coming up in April here at the Maryland Theater in downtown Hagerstown. Mr. Ryan, great to have you on this morning.
Thank you so much for having us and for taking this time to chat with me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about Once Upon a Mattress, because it's one of my favorite shows. It's a golden age musical that is such an incredible classic and tells such a fantastic story. But for people that may not know about it, tell us kind of a quick Cliff Notes version of Once Upon a Mattress for those that may not know.
Sure. Once Upon a Mattress is a musical retelling of the Hans Christian Andersen story, The Princess and the Pea, only they put their own spin on it. It was written back, it debuted on Broadway in 1959, and it was the show that launched the career of Carol Burnett. And legend has it is that she was performing her show, and another famous redhead named Lucille Ball was in the audience, and after the show said, I must go back and talk to that person. And from then on, they forged a really strong friendship, and it was part of Lucy's involvement that helped Carol get her show launched, and then she just became a legend in her own right. So Once Upon a Mattress, a musical retelling of Princess and the Pea, like you said, has a great message to it. The princess kind of is a little rough around the edges and is just being herself and embracing being herself. And she's really the only character that doesn't change. And the moral of the story is it's okay to just be yourself, and you can still get your Prince Charming. Just be yourself. So it's a great story. It's a lot of fun, old school comedy, slapstick comedy. It's a lot of fun and great songs, and it's been a pleasure to work on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you guys have done some great shows over the last couple of years. You did Addams Family last year, SpongeBob the year before. What has it been like for the students to kind of transition from those shows to kind of a more classic production like Once Upon a Mattress?
I think the biggest thing is sometimes I feel like I'm the old dinosaur in the room, because I'll talk about Carol Burnett and there's a little like of who, and I'm like, okay, now we got to step back, go research, find out who this person is. But I think it's really a wise choice to teach these theater students about those golden age musicals. Those golden age musicals are usually what a lot of dinner theaters do to pull in those bus tours. And that's a lot of entry level acting jobs for these students. So you should be familiar with that, with the style of storytelling. Our storytelling styles have changed over the years. And this one's much more straightforward. And the music itself is much more straightforward. Things like SpongeBob was extremely complicated. They had all of these different lyricists and composers and musical people collaborating on that show. And this one's more of a traditional style of storytelling. So I think it's important to expose aspiring actors and thespians of that era, of that golden age of theater.
Yeah. And obviously from my perspective, I'm an alumni of the school, so I could be a total expert on all things with, these productions. But for those that don't know, give us a little bit of a lowdown on how these productions are done, because, a lot of times, different productions at a lot of different schools, have different ways of how they produce their shows. But with the all school productions at BISFA, they are as close to, I almost say as close to Broadway as you can get, with pit orchestras and incredible lavish sets and, just this incredible theater at the Maryland Theater. And it's so just immaculate the way that it's put on. Give us that, lowdown on how, people can experience it and what it's like when people come into the theater and experience a Barbara Ingram School for the Arts all school production like Once Upon a Mattress.
Well, thank you for saying that, and thank you for bringing that up, because it really is amazing what the students and the creative team of these shows are able to put forward on the stage at the Maryland Theater. Because really, we're doing the work of a national tour. We are building a touring set. We're building a touring show that we have one day to load in and build on that stage. And then after the show, we've got to take everything back off. So everything has to be built in sections that can be removed and moved. The process starts when we start to look at shows, shop around for shows. We take a look at our talent pool. and say, okay, well, I think we have a cast. We could do this show. We don't pre-cast it, but we look at the talent base and go, okay, I can find enough of these characters within this group of students that I feel pretty confident that we can go ahead and get this contract signed and pay the royalties and lock it in. We go through the audition process. Our first set of auditions we'll put out. We're just doing a comedy, do something funny, a comedic monologue, and a song that shows off your range. And then after we see everybody's baseline talents, then we'll start to get specific, and we'll do a callback where we get people reading and singing from the show itself as we start to place people into their actual roles. We'll look at chemistry between people. We'll read people. We'll mix and match our princess and our princes and just see who can play off of one another and who can then create that magic that we want to create up on stage and that storytelling. That's a little bit about how the casting goes. As far as the design aspect, what we're doing this year is a little bit different than maybe what they've done in the past. I created a conceptual set design model, and that's been kind of the answer key to what we want our set to look like. We're building the set from the ground up. I think the only thing that we're using that we're repurposing would be some of the platforms from Hairspray, I believe it was. So we're using some of the platforms from Hairspray as our base. We're putting them up on wheels, and then we are building a three column castle that is going to move around. So we have 3 different units that we're building. The castle is probably going to reach a height of maybe 16 feet tall, because we've got a tall bed that we've got to hide on stage. We've got to we've got to find a place to put it. So we're working on that. It's going to be very colorful, very bright. I wanted it to look like it was right out of a storybook. I wanted it to look very fantastical. Our costumes are also something we're doing new this year. We're actually purchasing very few. We're building our costume adjunct, Marissa Culp, is kind of spearheading the construction of all of the costumes. So we have all the patterns, and the students are doing this. The students are patterning it, cutting the patterns, cutting the fabric, sewing them together. So that's exciting to see everything come together from the ground up. Brenda Reynolds has been the one kind of spearheading the set design and the scene shop. And, you know Brenda, right? She's
Yeah.
She's like
and I've worked with Marissa too.
Oh yeah, Marissa. So, yeah. Both of them are like a whiz with coming up with odds and ends and making something great out of it. So, we have an idea of what we're aiming for, but we can always allow that to grow and change as we have ideas that come along. Mm-hmm. Nicole Ruark is going to be doing our choreography. She's fantastic. And of course, Melissa Mackley is heading up the pit and the vocals. So it's a strong team. It's a pleasure to work with everybody. The results are going to be awesome. I have complete faith in it. And it's nice to see things come together.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's this professional experience, going through the process of your 4 years at Barbara Ingram, no matter what floor you're on, no matter, what art you are pursuing while you're there, especially when you're a part of the all school production, it is as close to a professional experience so that when you're going out of the school, and you are going into whatever, workforce you're going into, or if you are going into the professional field of that art form, it is as close to it as humanly possible. And it's such a cool experience to get into it. And I know from the perspective of being a teacher, I know you've been the lead teacher for the theater department now for 3 or 4 years now, 3 years or 4 years.
This is the middle of my 3rd year.
Yeah. So how has it been so far? And what has been your favorite part so far about teaching and directing these students so far at Barbara Ingram?
So, all right, let me go. I'll address that. So my favorite part is everything that you just mentioned, the whole environment of the school in general. Like whatever floor you're on, you have people practicing and demonstrating whatever they're passionate about. And really that feeling bleeds through all of the walls in this school. You just feel it. You can walk up and down the stairwells at any time and hear people in the hallways practicing, and they take that extra step. And I remember my first year here, probably commenting to somebody going, I found my people. This is it. So that being around other like-minded people that understand, and sometimes the hecticness and the pace that we go through, that people share that. But all of that hectic pace leads to a fantastic product. So it always pays off at the end. So I think that's one of my favorite things, getting to know the students, getting to know the way that they express themselves. And everybody expresses themselves so differently that's been a lot of fun. That's been a lot of fun. It's just been great. Every student here has something to offer, and every little part of that offering is a little bit different, and they offer it in their own unique way. It's been really a pleasure.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of some of these productions too, is you get to see that true melting pot of the talents of every single student, whether it is, whoever's creating the projections that you see, or the set pieces that you see, or like you said, the students being a part of the costume designs, like those little minute details that you may not know whenever you're watching, but then you look at the program and you're like, oh, okay, that one sophomore there designed that spectacular costume right up there on the, on stage. That's, the stories that you hear behind the scenes are what truly, make that remarkable. And I think from your perspective, it's got to be truly amazing. And of course, as students are, going through their middle school years and they're considering going on to go to the Barbara Ingram School for the Arts, particularly to jump into the theater department, what would you say is your elevator pitch to them to jumping in and being a part of this department?
If you live and breathe any of these art forms, if this is what you think about, if this is what gives you joy, if this is what keeps you motivated through the day, then I would look at coming to a school like this, because you will find yourself surrounded by other people who share that same energy and share that passion and that collective just vibe that they all send out there about, this is my art and this is what I do. It's freeing. It's liberating, and it gives you a platform to express yourself and just be you and finding out who you are through all this.
Gotcha. And finally, too, your elevator pitch to those that are thinking about coming out to see Once Upon a Mattress live at the Maryland Theater, April 5th, 6th, 12th, and 13th. What do you want to tell them about this awesome show coming up?
Do it. Buy your tickets. It's a lot of fun. You're going to laugh. It is big comedy. It is big old school comedy. The music, toe tapping, and you can hum them on your way home. It's just a joyous, fun retelling of a classic story, and it's got great characters. The costumes are going to be amazing. The set's going to be bright and colorful, and it'll be amazing. It's going to be just, you can hear the bell ringing now. So
I was going to say, this is an immersive interview now because we're hearing the school bell in the background. Like,
you hear the announcements and everything. But
sandwiches that were provided by Divas in the teacher.
So evidently we have sandwiches provided. So
fantastic.
That's the perk. But for anybody buying a ticket, your tickets, you can get those through the Maryland Theater website, marylandtheater.org. And that is with the theatre.org. They're running a special right now. So the special, I think, is going to run for the week. And nice. The special is 4 tickets for the price of 3, something like that. I think you get 25% off of each set, but so it still runs out at 4 tickets for the price of 3. So get your tickets.
Awesome.
Go have a fun time. You're going to really enjoy seeing students who are really putting forth their best. Everything is student generated up on that stage. That was something I was very passionate about, making sure that this is the students' work that you're representing. It's not necessarily my work. We do have the parents come in and help a little bit. We have a parent work day this Saturday, but really we want the parents' job just to send them over the top. We don't want them to be doing the students' work. This is the students' opportunity to learn and to produce this, and also hopefully feel that pride of completion and the finished product once it's done.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the parents thing is just always the icing on the cake. I remember just like having my dad out there to help with like the set building process when we did like Beauty and the Beast and Legally Blonde and stuff, was just like the cool thing to be like, hey, look, it's my dad up in the ceiling of the Maryland Theater. Like those moments there were just like the little fun memories of that time.
And the work days are always fun. We'll do it. We'll do a potluck as well, where everybody brings something and then we break and then we all eat together. And it becomes a time where I get to meet the parents, because the parents are part of this journey too. I'm going to have these same set of parents for 4 years as well, and I get to build that relationship with them. So it's a lot of fun.
Sweet. Awesome. And I got to say, too, the entire time that we've been having this conversation, I've been hearing the song Shy in the background, because you were saying, you're like, you're going to hear these songs the whole way home in your head over and over again. I'm like, all I could hear was Shy the whole time, because like you said, that score is just like, it's viral. It's such a great score, such a great soundtrack. And people are going to fall in love with this show if they've never seen it before. It's such a great story. It's such a fun show. And, the students are spoiled to be able to get to tell this story and put on this production, and can't wait to see it. It's going to be a fun time, and congratulations on everything, and looking forward to
congratulations to you too, and everything that you've got.
Thank you.
Wheel of Fortune. That's awesome.